Regime change will come to the entire world when the Lord returns. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor that's due to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakha HaKodash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 and the hopeful elect. Shalom Barakathum. I want to say Salakia for the audio and the video earlier. It's connecting to that Bluetooth, man. You got to remember to, trying to do the screen record. It's hit or miss, but I'll be more diligent with it next time. So Salakia. But anyway, the topic is regime change, which is the trending topic right now, because that's supposedly what they're trying to avoid. But we already know that this is the seventh country announced that would be toppled, and when they topple the country, they don't just leave it there. They plant some fake leader there, or they foment chaos in it, or they through terrorist organizations, where they don't really have a kind of a government, but you kind of got guys with guns running around to kind of keep order in things. So like Libya is an example of that, where you have open slave markets in Libya right now. They don't really have a clear sense of leadership there. They have a leaders, but it's really not a strong country, because when Gaddafi went down back in 2015, they basically haven't been the same ever since. So they either have that, or they have what you have like in Syria right now, like the former head of ISIS is running Syria, and everybody knows that that's what the plan is by this guy Bibi Milikowski. They're saying that they just want to target the nuclear sites and be gone with it, but that's not going to be the case, because the news came out that they were not destroyed. And when I was doing some research on those weapons they dropped, there's no way they could have destroyed that facility if Iran had two brain cells to rub together, which they do, because they are capable of building nukes. They have a lot of smart engineers and scientists in there in Iran. So these are not just your average towel heads, okay, over there. Now, they use these bunker buster bombs that were 30,000 pounds. And when people hear that, they think 30,000 pounds of explosives. But it wasn't 30,000 pounds of explosives. It was actually about 5,000 or 6,000 pounds of explosive. Now, the bomb weighs 30,000 pounds, but most of that weight is pure steel, because it's designed to penetrate 200-300 feet in the ground. But most of it is not explosive. It's only 5,000 pounds of explosive. So, and then you're dropping it. They say about the accuracy is about the size of a washing machine they dropped it on. Now, if you got the wrong intel, all right, and you drop it in the wrong spot, then guess what? That facility is not going to be destroyed. Plus, you only dropped 6 of them, so there's no way you destroyed all of those facilities, because it came out that they didn't really destroy them, and they don't know where the uranium is. And it makes sense, because if you dropped it, let's say right on top of the entrance. Well, number one, why would they have just one entrance? Number two, why would the cave go straight vertically down? They're assuming that the cave doesn't go underground sideways, which they normally would do that. They would go down diagonal. So you might have closed off one entrance of it, but you didn't destroy the whole thing, man. That's very silly to think that. So now they have a reason to go back, Now they have a reason to go back. But when you talk about regime change, everybody's got their idea of how the world should be run and who should be in charge. Well, Yahweh Shai and the kingdom of heaven, all right, which is on the way, that is what needs to be established in the earth. And that is what's going to be established in the earth. In Revelation, it speaks about the Lord having many crowns, man, and how is he going to get those crowns? He's gonna conquer every single nation. When the Lord shows up, all of the heathen that have any kind of military are gonna be battling in the Middle East, okay? And they're gonna be at war. And when the Lord shows up with Michael and the angels, they're gonna turn to fight the angels in heaven and be swiftly put down, man. And then once that happens, that's a wrap, okay? All of the nukes are gonna be fired and discharged to destroy America, and then that's gonna be a wrap. There ain't gonna be no more nukes. There ain't gonna be no more world powers. You'll have your kings, but your kings are gonna be slaves, basically. Okay, tributes. Because everybody owes the nation of Israel, man. Everybody has profited off of us through the devil Babylon the Great and their enterprise here. Okay, everybody has exploited us. In every country you find us, we're at the bottom. Okay, adding hella value but getting very little in return. Like our bag has holes in it. And that's part of the curses. But the curses were done through the wicked of these heathen. So when the Lord gets back, there will be regime change. Okay, the one world government, it will be established, but not the way that these people say it's going to be established. Okay, the King of Kings will be on the earth along with King David. Okay, and then that's that's the Spirit. You can see this license plate, 444 AEK. See that? See, that will be established in the earth, man. And there's not a goddamn thing you're gonna be able to do about it, because we're not gonna need. There's not gonna be a need for nuclear weapons anymore. There's not gonna be a need for guns or bullets, because we're gonna be the police of the earth. Okay, each Israelite man will be worth more than any nuclear stockpile that's ever been created, man. Because we're gonna have glorified celestial bodies, and we'll be able to be gods in the earth and judge and rule accordingly, man. And that's a righteous thing, man. I put a precept in the chat earlier that spoke about the kingdom of heaven. That says, "Great is your reward in heaven for those that persecute you." Our reward in heaven is great, man. It's really unfathomable, man. Okay, brothers have fantasies about just being able to fly, man. You ever been in an airplane and it's just like a nice clear sky? You go through a cloud or something here or there. It's a beautiful, serene feeling, man. Imagine just being able to do that. Imagine just being able to go wherever you want, not having to worry about money. You ain't got to worry about your woman stepping out on you. You ain't got to worry about war. You don't even have to work, man. And that's what the Lord promised us, and that's what's coming to the earth. And when the scriptures say that in Genesis, like that nigga Ted Cruz tried to say, we're commanded to bless Israel, and he was talking about the small hats. That's what it's talking about, man. All right, and that when it says those that bless you that will be blessed, and those that curse you will be cursed, that's talking about the kingdom of heaven. All right, the more tithes you give, the more blessed you're going to be, man. If you don't want to keep the law, then guess what? You're going to get a foot up your ass, man. And a lot of times, if the whole nation wants to get out of pocket, you can read that in Zechariah, I believe it's the 14th chapter, that basically no rain will come into you, man. So we'll have control over the weather. We'll have control over whether or not crops and things of that nature grow. We're not gonna have to worry about nothing, man. You're gonna have to pay tribute to the ones that created the earth, the first fruits, which are the Israelites. Okay, and then there's a lot of breakdowns in there that you got to get understanding on. But ultimately, the Elohim you saw creating the heavens and the earth in Genesis, the first chapter, those were the elect spirits. Okay, under Yahushua creating everything, man. Okay, and when you read Deuteronomy 32:8, it speaks about the portion of he set the bounds of the people according to Israel. Okay, so the earth really was always our inheritance, man, and so are all the people in it. That's why you're not you're not on our level. Okay, I'll put it to you that way. And this is the principal reason why the Lord has us in such a low estate before he glorifies us. But only a third of us, especially over here in America, are going to be glorified on this side. The rest of you will have to die the death of the heathen and these Edomites, and you'll have to be born back in the kingdom with shame and contempt, man. So when we're out there preaching on the highways and byways, man, we're preaching with hope, with faith, that the Lord is going to have mercy on us, that we're part of the first resurrection, because that's going to be the most glorious thing that has ever occurred in the earth, man. Okay, the scriptures tell you we will no longer talk about when the Lord delivered us out of Egypt, but when the Lord delivered us out of the land of the north. That's written for a reason. What is the land of the north? And these individuals, these Israelites that know that they're Israelites, but they're bullshitting, or you heard about the truth and you don't really want to, get with the Lord's program. The Lord is gonna have you separate in the kingdom. You know, the Lord is gonna leave you here, man. You know, and that's gonna be a horrific death. You know, so regime change, as they see it, is just toppling a country, but the whole earth is gonna get regime change, because the throne that Esau sits on right now belongs to King David. Okay, and King David sits under Yahushua. Okay, King Yahushua, he has an order in the heavens right now, where he sits on the right hand of the Most High, and he's gonna have the order in the earth via King David. All right. See, the Lord, he's both, man. You know, and there's a lot of mysteries we're gonna get and understand as well too, man. Things out in the heavens and that nature, man. So brothers just gotta hold on, man. And this test that we're getting ready to go through, man, you have to endure this thing, man. Meditate on it, pray. You know, think about how Satan's gonna try you. Read the scriptures what we were tried in the past, man. You know, and how fearful and how dreadful it was. But the Lord had the spirit of the men that he thought were worthy to endure those things and overcome them ultimately. You know, even if those men died. Okay. So I'll end it there, man. Lord willing, this is edifying. Call Allah Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai Ba'ashim Rachak Qadash Shalom Am Yashra.